Now let's talk about training and skills management in the Knowledge Excellence application. Training and skills management in Factbird provides a systematic approach to workforce development for sustainable change, supporting skill development from onboarding to upskilling and ensuring the right skill profiles are available to meet production demands. So, jumping into the system, you can access the training and skills management by clicking on Learning. And once you open this up, you'll be brought here, and let's take a quick look at just an overview of the different pages available. Starting with learning activities, these are the foundation of the training and skills management. They're the building blocks and the kind of course load that your workforce will actually be engaging in. So here's where you can build the things that they'll actually be learning from. Then we have skills. These are essentially collections of learning activities. So they're the overall skills that you want your employees to be certified in or trained in, and they're made up of groups of learning activities. And then finally, there is the skill matrix, which is an overview of which employees are enrolled or have completed different skills, which of course are groups of learning activities. So let's take a look at learning activities in a bit more detail. Clicking through here, we can see a list of learning activities that have already been built. We can see here, filling machine introduction, job shadowing. Let's take a look, for example, at the labeler job shadowing. So here you can see a learning activity that's been built. Someone has taken the time to build out this learning activity with an introduction, an orientation, and just what the actual operator has to follow. So they should open this up and be following this. Here you can give it a title, a description of what it is, and a location it's associated with. So this is associated with bottling line 1. You have toggles here to require a start and end time or a validity period for this skill to be valid. So if I back out here, you could save changes that you make by clicking here, but I'll just click back now as I haven't made any changes. If you want to build a new learning activity, you can do that by clicking on this purple box up the top right of the screen here. So now I have a blank canvas to build a new learning activity. Here, I could give it a title. I can give it a description. So let's say, for example, this could be capper maintenance. And we could select a location that this is associated with. So, this could be, for example, just associated with the entirety of Denmark as an example, so that this has validity across there. And I can say require start and end time or validity period, but for the sake of this example, I'll do that. So when you're actually building out the learning activity, it is an open text field, kind of works like, where you can just create it in whatever style you think is best. You have these different text options here. You can also attach media. So you could attach, let's say, an image for training on something, or you could include a link that brings you to a video elsewhere or to another piece of content you have elsewhere. So you have free text here to be able to build whatever you want to have in this learning activity. And when that's completed, you can just click save up here, and that will then be saved as a new learning activity. So then that will show up here on this list of learning activities, and you can also, of course, edit existing learning activities. As we saw earlier, if I want to come back to the labeler job shadowing, I can come back in here and edit a pre-made learning activity, so it's not set in stone once it's been built. So now let's move into the skills page. So we've learned about how you build learning activities, which are the actual things the operators will follow. And skills are essentially learning activities that are grouped together to qualify for a skill. So if I look at the filler here as an example, I can see the filler description of the skill is managing and calibrating beverage filling machines to ensure accurate volume levels. Let's click into that skill to see what is actually included in that. So here we can see the title of this skill is filler. We have the description we just read and the location it's associated with. And here you can see the learning activities that are associated with this skill. So in order to be qualified for this skill, you have to complete the filling machine overview and the filling machine job shadowing. If you wanted to add a new learning activity to qualify you for the filler, you can click on this plus here, add a learning activity where you could browse the existing learning activities that you've built, or be directly linked to creating a new learning activity, which is what we've just done in the previous part. So once you've done that, you can click Save Changes, and that will save an update for this skill. However, if you'd like to add a new skill, you can come to this purple box up the top right, click Add Skill, and then you're brought to the same page again, just with a fresh template where you can give it its own title, its own description, the location it's associated with, and build out with the learning activities that are associated with this new skill that you're building. Now let's take a look at the skill matrix. This is where everything that we've just built kind of comes together. So we have skills that are made up of learning activities, and then here you can see your different employees and the skills that you have built. And you can start to get a very quick and easy overview of which employees are qualified in which skills in this matrix. So As you can see here, there is a kind of empty green circle and a filled green circle, and then some where there is nothing at all. So the filled green circle with the tick means that this employee has qualified in this skill and completed all of the learning activities associated with it. So if I click, you can see that Sam here has completed safety classroom training, meaning that he is qualified in general safety. So if I close that, we can also see here in the labeler, this means that Sam is enrolled for this skill in the labeler, but he is yet to complete it. So if I click in here, we can see Sam is enrolled in the labeler introduction, job shadowing and operation. However, he is yet to complete these skills and the associated learning activities, meaning that it is still a hollow green circle. And then there are some like this here, where they have not been enrolled at all to learn that skill. So if you wanted this person to be enrolled for that skill, you would just click on the plus over that area and say, okay, enroll. And then that employee will be notified that they have been enrolled for learning this skill. So when an employee has been enrolled in a new skill, they'll be notified up here at the top of the screen with this bell. So when they log into the system, they'll see that there's a new notification, meaning that they have one new task and they can click here to see it. This brings you to the tasks page where they can see their to-do, which is safety classroom training in this instance. You can click on that and confirm that you are going to complete that, and it can actually bring you directly to the skill and associated learning activities. You can also navigate to this page by clicking on the username up here when they log in. That will bring you to the profile section where you can navigate to this tasks and also to qualifications. Here's where you can see your skills, both the ones that you've completed and the ones that you're enrolled in. So this is where an employee can keep track of the things that they have completed and have finished all the learning activities and the stuff they're enrolled in and still need to complete.